All right, everyone, it's shortly after 7:30. Excuse me. Want to ask everybody to quiet down, please. Ready to get the meeting started. Welcome to our October City Council meeting. Actually, one of the first times that I've ever used it. It's not good. We're not starting off well tonight. Just kidding. Thank y'all for being here. We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and then I'll ask you to remain standing, and Councilmember Hicks is going to give the invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilmember Hicks.
Heavenly Father, we come before you today with a humble heart, seeking your guidance and wisdom as we gather for this council meeting today. Lord, we acknowledge that you are the ultimate authority and that all decisions made today should be in alignment with your will. Lord, we just pray and ask that you guide the decisions, the thoughts, the words of all that are said here today. Lord, we just thank you for our life, our health, and our strength. We thank you for the community that we have here, Lord. And we just pray that you continue to keep being in the midst of all that are here and within this community as we continue to keep growing, Lord. Lord, we just pray and for our armed forces and those that are protecting our freedom. Lord, we pray for those that are protecting us locally with our police force and whether it's locally or across the country, Lord, and also for their families, Lord. We pray for all elected officials at the federal, state, and the local levels, that all decisions, that you would be in the midst of all decisions, Lord. And we just ask you that you be the guide and light for everything and all decisions made, Lord. We just pray for health. We pray for family. We pray for unity. And all of these things, in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Hicks. Can everybody hear me okay? Good. All right, first order of business is approval of the agenda. Before I ask for that, I want to ask for a couple of amendments, if you don't mind. I want to ask that you add swearing in of the marshals after the Gwinnett Chamber of Commerce proclamation, and that you note that item number 1 under new business is tabled. That comes at the request of the applicant. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve. Motion to approve the agenda with the 2 changes for the marshals and tabling DRB CBD 23-002 at the request of the applicant.
I have a motion from Mr. Cohen. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, I have a second from Mr. Rosal. All those in favor of approving the agenda, please raise your right hand. Very good. Next order of business is approval of the minutes. We have minutes from council meeting and executive session on September the 11th, and we have minutes from the work session and executive session on September the 5th. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve the minutes for September 11th and September the 5th.
Motion from Ms. Thatcher. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion from Mr. Hicks. All those in favor of approving the minutes, please raise your right hand. Very good. We're moving fast tonight. We're going to move on to proclamations, etc. We do have a proclamation tonight, and we have some very distinguished guests here with us. Nick Massino and Megan Lesko. Earlier this year, the Gwinnett Chamber of Commerce, they received the Chamber of Commerce of the Year, which is a national recognition. And I have a proclamation for you that I'm going to read. And then I'd love for you to come up and accept it, take some pictures, and say some words, if you don't mind. We're obviously very proud of the relationship that we have with the Gwinnett Chamber of Commerce. All right, so whereas the Gwinnett Chamber of Commerce was established in 1947, and whereas since its creation, the Gwinnett Chamber of Commerce has been the unified voice for the business community in Gwinnett County, and whereas Governor Brian Kemp recently said about the Gwinnett Chamber of Commerce that local chambers of commerce play a key role in keeping Georgia the #1 state in the country for doing business. And I think we have received that for 10 years in a row now. And whereas the Gwinnett Chamber of Commerce works tirelessly every day to support, retain, and expand the Gwinnett business community. And whereas Partnership Gwinnett was created by the Chamber to focus on economic development and redevelopment. And whereas the City of Sugar Hill is a proud member of the Gwinnett Chamber of Commerce and Partnership Gwinnett, working collaboratively to create new jobs, attract private sector investment, celebrate our business community, and improve the quality of life of our diverse community in all the cities across Gwinnett County. And whereas the Gwinnett Chamber of Commerce and Partnership Gwinnett has been an important partner for the city of Sugar Hill and our economic and redevelopment efforts. And whereas in August of 2023, the Gwinnett Chamber of Commerce was awarded the highly coveted and respected Chamber of the Year designation by the Association of Chamber of Commerce Executives. Now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and City Council of the City of Sugar Hill that we congratulate the Gwinnett Chamber of Commerce on its recent national recognition and extend our heartfelt thanks to President and CEO Nick Messino and Megan Lesko and the entire Chamber team for their leadership and partnership with the City of Sugar Hill over the last several years. And I think we're going to come around and get some pictures with you. I'd love for you to say some words.
It's a big chamber.
We're going to go back up to our seats.
Okay.
I'd love for you to say some
Okay,
words.
perfect, yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate it. Thanks, sir. Mayor, how much time do I have?
As long as you want.
Well, as long as that was not the right answer.
Less time than you had at the key leadership.
I'll keep it brief. First of all, Mayor and Council, thank you so much. Appreciate the recognition today. And Mayor, I don't want to officially in the minutes correct you, but it is an international organization, and, but that's okay. We don't need to edit it. But we're really proud of it. And I'd like to say that it was very, very thoughtful that you all took time today to recognize the Gwinnett Chamber. We are proud partners of the City of Sugar Hill, as mentioned in the proclamation through the Chamber and also Partnership Gwinnett, our economic development initiative. For someone who, I just live just outside of Metro Sugar Hill and Suwanee, a great suburb of Sugar Hill. Don't tell Suwanee I said that. But I do want to say that it's really been fun. I've lived just down the street for 29 consecutive years, and to watch what's happened is really absolutely incredible. It's an honor to be recognized by all of you. The curb appeal, what has been built here, what the development is really simply amazing. And you've created a complete sense of place. You should be very, very proud of yourselves and all the folks that were involved, from your planning commission to your obviously all the staff under Paul's great leadership. It really is simply amazing. You've created a front porch, a front yard to Sugar Hill. Is very welcoming. When our economic development team are showing off North Gwinnett, or this corner of Gwinnett, it always involves coming through downtown Sugar Hill, possibly meeting to have coffee at Rushing or another establishment. It just really, when you bring a prospect and they see the investment that you've made, the community investment, the sense of, again, sense of place and appeal, it really sets the bar very high. The Georgia Department of Economic Development, anytime we have a project in this direction, they want to come through because they know that's what the candidates, the prospective companies want to see. So hats off to you for that. My wife and I, well, actually, I think some of you know, my daughter just got engaged. Speaking of another great Sugar Hill investment, the new trail system. My daughter in the spring, her now fiance, boyfriend at the time, said we were kind of setting up the engagement, and then we were going to do a post-engagement party at our house, and he was like, by the way, they're both outdoor rec majors from Georgia Southern. And so it was going to be outside somewhere. And I was like, well, Swanee's got plenty of trails, but he wanted to go somewhere different and unique and create his own memories with my daughter. And so they went to, I told him about the Gold Rush Trail. My wife and I had hiked it like 2 weeks before, the whole trail back and forth. And so they went over to the gold mine. And kind of when you back off the gold mine, and if you're going to keep going down the trail away from the parking lot, there's kind of a clearing up to the left. Maybe it's an old trail or something, I'm not really sure. But she thought she saw something, and she likes to catch frogs, as most 23-year-old girls like to do. And so she goes to catch a frog, and she turns around, and he's on his knees. So I think that might be your first proposal on the trail. I don't know. But it really is special to us that she did it here in Gwinnett, and again, in the greater Sugar Hill Swanee community. It's really special. But really, hats off to you all. Trails are an important part of America. Connecting parks, connecting green spaces and public spaces and activity centers. And so it's just another amazing thing that you all have accomplished. Just as I wrap it up, if I could share just one other thing. For the purpose of being here, the Chamber, you all have been incredible hosts as we are nomads. Right now, we're doing a major historic renovation of the Chamber, and we did an entire week of events here, our after hours, our morning networking, and many of our staff have used your different facilities, public and private, to host staff meetings. We have about 34, 35 full-time employees. We only have room in a small little suite for about 8 of us, so they've been nomading around Gwinnett County. And let me just on the record say this is one of my favorite top 16 cities in Gwinnett. So I do appreciate it. Really, thank you so much for all that you've invested in Sugar Hill that everyone gets to enjoy. And I really appreciate all of you. In closing, with your adjustment to the minutes, Megan and I would like to stay. And can we be sworn in as marshals? Should we just wait?
I'll make a deal with you. I think I've said this before, although it's not very appealing. I am looking for my first wedding to officiate, so
Okay.
we can exchange. I'll swear you in if I can marry your daughter.
Maybe a perfect connection with the engagement.
There you go.
I'll let you know, Mayor. But again, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. What an honor. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Congratulations on your international recognition.
Oh, thank you.
All right, next we do have 2 new marshals to swear in, Kevin Snyder and Christian Matos. Did I say that correctly? Matos. I even looked it up online. I thought it was Portuguese. My mistake. All right, would you like to come up so we could swear both of you in?
Deja vu, right? You. I, Kevin Snyder, do solemnly swear or affirm that I am duly qualified according to the Constitution and laws of Georgia to perform the duties imposed upon me as a marshal of the city of Sugar Hill, Georgia, and that I will, to the best of my ability, discharge the duties thereof, and preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of Georgia and the Charter and ordinances of the City of Sugar Hill. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Sorry to keep asking. Come up. We're gonna watch before you. Everybody.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Good to see you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Thanks. Welcome to the team.
Just sign that.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Gentlemen, again, thank you. Marshal Snyder was actually moving up from being a reserve marshal to being a full-time marshal. All right. Next, we'll move on to reports, and I'll start with Mr. Hartley, the city attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. I have no report.
All right, we'll move on to council, and I'll start with Ms. Thatcher.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, I would like to congratulate the Downtown Development Authority, led by Jack Wolf, for the press release of the 2 new businesses that we will be welcoming to downtown Sugar Hill. My family, my daughters in particular, are extremely excited about both Starbucks and Pliables joining the downtown community. So thanks to the DDA for the good work in attracting great businesses to downtown. Also wanted to, I know she's not here tonight, that Cam's here for her, but congratulate Avery on a great show this past weekend. The comedy show with Jeff Allen was well attended, and he was hysterically funny. We had a great time. It was my husband's actually first time in the theater. I've been there multiple times for lots of different events, but it was his first time, and he was like, wow, this place is really nice. So it was nice to be able to get out for a night out without children. And then lastly, a reminder about, it's not like you could even not know about it, but a reminder about Sugar Rush coming on the weekend of the 20th. My kids are also very excited about the concerts that will be happening that Friday night, so I'm sure that we will hear more about that in Cam's report in just a little while. And that's it for me.
Thank you, Ms. Thatcher. Mr. Cohen?
Great, thank you. To piggyback on Sugar Rush, we've got the concerts on Friday night the 20th, and on Saturday, Sunday, we've got the Arts Festival. So there's live painting, screen printing, gold mining, I think panning for rocks, rock painting, vendors, food booths, lots going on. So make sure you come out Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And finally, I just want everybody to keep the state of Israel in their thoughts and prayers. A lot's going on there. There were some horrific attacks over the weekend, and it looks like it's just the tip of the iceberg. I'm thankful that my cousins are back home in the States, just arriving back last month, and that my son is back, who had spent some of the summer in Israel. So, we stand with Israel, so keep your thoughts and prayers with the state of Israel. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cohen. Mr. Anderson?
Just a real quick recognition to our staff, both past and present. The Georgia Department of Community Affairs recognized our downtown as the Main Street of the Month for October, and that's a nice, significant recognition for the work that has been going in for many, many years now into downtown, and for the Department of Community Affairs and through our Main Street program, or their Main Street program, recognize us this month out of the 530 some odd cities that are in the state of Georgia. To be recognized is pretty remarkable. So congratulations to our staff and, of course, all those that invest, our volunteers, our Downtown Development Authority, and so many people that pour into building our community and to be recognized. So that's a recognition of all of them.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Mr. Rosal.
Thank you, Mayor. Good to see friendly faces out there tonight. Thank you for joining us. I've got a few things to update the community on. First, I had the honor to be a part of the team with the mayor and several council members participating in the Envision 100 project with our K through 12 students from the Lanier cluster. We've got Jonathan Hoover in the audience who was with us both days as well. And it was a really neat opportunity to expand kind of the listening session, for lack of better terms, to our up and coming, our students and future leaders in our community. A highlight for me personally was being able to walk from Sugar Hill Elementary School with the students on all of their first non-bus field trip, which they loved. We were able to walk along the Greenway to downtown and then take them on a tour of City Hall and throughout the downtown and really just hear their enthusiasm and passion for their community, which was really neat. Sugar Rush is coming up October 20th through 22nd. I wanted to highlight the fact that there will be a 5K race Saturday morning. It'll be a color run. And the last time I checked as well, we're still looking for volunteers. So if you are planning to be there anyway and maybe want to attend one day and serve and volunteer another, that'd be a great opportunity to help out. If you've got young kids like myself, we've got the Downtown Trick or Treat coming up October 27th at 5:30 p.m. in downtown. That's always a fun tradition we look forward to. I think we've gone to it every year, and no shortage of candy for the kids, and they have a good time just kind of exploring downtown and being able to fill up the bags and have a good time with that. Also, we've got the community food fight going on. So if you haven't heard about this is a really neat opportunity to have some fun competition with the city of Suwanee, and at the same time help support the North Gwinnett Co-op, which is a key partner to our community and helping out members of our community. So we are currently in the lead, and right now we're collecting personal hygiene items through October 22nd. It's super easy if you're at Kroger or Publix or wherever you may shop, pick up a few extra things of shampoo or laundry detergent, toothbrushes, that sort of thing, and you can drop them off at City Hall, at the Eagle Theater, at the East Center, and at Lanier High School. And then last but not least, as the weather cools off, I always try to put a plug for the Sugar Hill Running Club. If you like to walk, if you like to run, if you like to bike, everybody's welcome. But it's a really good group that meets up at Gold Mine Park on Monday evenings and Wednesday evenings, and I'm sure they'd love to have you. It's a great community group and always looking for new members.
Thank you, Mr. Rosal. Mr. Hicks.
Thanks, Mayor. First thing, I want to acknowledge and appreciate the Sugar Hills Women Club for them hosting, and the mayor for hosting what I feel was a really well-attended, great State of the City address. I think that was the first one for our city, and I felt that, and the feedback that I received from the community, that it was really informative. It was well received, and so I was glad to see some of you that were out there in attendance there, so thank you for that. Also, I actually had my first opportunity to attend the Brothers Making Move. The mayor had already attended the first session. Him and I were there for the second one, which was Saturday before last. What that is a group of selected 7th graders from Lanier Middle School that is pre-selected from the guidance counselors, where it's an enrichment program for those kids. One of the things that we're doing, that group is partnering with the city. We provide the resources as far as the classroom for them, but also Sugar Hill Church is also partnering with that team as well. I actually brought this up in the last council meeting. From that meeting, someone in the audience approached me about it. That person has been in attendance and has been a mentor and for that group of boys. I will tell you, last Saturday when I was there, it really tugged on my heart, just because of the fact that it was about 15 or so boys that was there that day. And, I think personally, I seen some of those boys and I kind of say, oh, well, they're just here. They just want to come here and goof around, play around, or whatever. These boys actually came in here with books. They were reading, books that I think that was enriching to them. They had a story all to tell, and they were actually there willing to learn and wanting to learn. So again, men especially, if you have some free times every other Saturday to attend in the East Center, 8 o'clock every other Saturday, it was a good opportunity to, and these are kids from right here within our community. So. And last I have, the next Digital Learning Day is going to be October the 3rd. Again, that's going to be in our East Center. Again, we opened up the East Center for all of our kids and families to be able to come and have Wi-Fi, as well as a place to come and learn with their classmates. We usually have tutors there of some sort to help out, but we also open up the gymnasium for them to have the opportunity to play. The marshals are always in attendance. The mayor is in attendance. Mr. Hoover, him and his family are always at every single one, and thank you guys for that. So that's all that I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hicks. And I do have a mayor's report, and I did send a PowerPoint, but with Kaipo out, I don't know if it made it through or not. Good deal. Thank you, Claire. And I probably have captured some pictures of the events that y'all have already talked about, but that's okay, I guess. So earlier this month, we had our first planning session with all of the Lanier Cluster principals. This is something that we started doing with them last year. We get together on a quarterly basis, and we talk about a variety of different things. One of the things that you're going to see a lot this year is an increased number of field trips inside of our community, and that may include a field trip to Crayfish Creek. It may include a field trip to downtown. You name it. I think we have created an open door with our Lanier Cluster schools, and we've had some field trips already and have some planned in the future. You have all 5 Lanier Cluster principals here, and of course us as well. We also talk about things that we do that might potentially impact the schools, and I have found it interesting that Lanier Middle School is actually down 100 students this year. Sycamore Elementary School is holding steady. White Oak Elementary School has been down for a number of years. And Lanier High School, again, is just, that got really loud really fast. Again, it's just holding steady. But those are the types of things that we talk about with the Lanier Cluster principals, and we just value the relationship that we have with them. Next slide, Ms. Weatherly. Here's something that was just absolutely amazing. I think this is the second time that we've done the Lanier Homecoming Parade in downtown Sugar Hill. This was by far the best year. They started at Sugar Hill Elementary School, came down Level Creek, came across West Broad, and then headed back up to Sugar Hill Elementary School. I don't know how many people, several thousand parents and kids. Just an awesome experience, and I know that that's going to be a tradition that we continue to do each and every year. Next slide. Next, I've talked about this before. 2 of our young men at Lanier High School win the state fishing championship. You've got Bryson Dover here and Angel Cornejo. They are the winners. They're both finishing out their last year at Lanier High School. Have not met 2 more outstanding young men. That was the first year that program existed, and it's just amazing that they won the state championship, and they competed in the national championship up in Wisconsin. Unfortunately, did not win, but they did very, very well in comparison to all the other high schools from around the country. Next slide, please. And this is me being able to give the ring to Angel, and again, just 2 amazingly fine young men. Very proud that they're in our community. Angel wants to go into the Coast Guard when he graduates. Next slide, please. Here's just some pictures from our Envision 100 session with the Lanier Cluster Schools. For the first day, we had Lanier Middle School and Lanier High School. For the second day, we had Sugar Hill Elementary School, Sycamore Elementary School, and White Oak Elementary School. And on the left-hand side, those are students that are participating in an Envision 100 workshop, and what a privilege it was just to get their feedback and to spend time with them. And then, of course, Mr. Rosel mentioned that they received an escort as they walked the Sugar Hill Greenway from Sugar Hill Elementary School to City Hall. And I think they got a big kick out of a lot of it. A lot of them said they felt like they had their own personal bodyguards for the day. So just a lot of fun. Amazing kids. Next slide, please. And then here's just some other pictures of the students. We did tours of the downtown area, talked about the history, and just did a variety of other things just to kind of initiate some creativity in their minds. Next slide, Ms. Weather. And then here's just one of the sessions that we had with them inside the City Council chambers, where we went through similar exercises that we went through with adults in the Vision 100 process. Next slide. Here's a picture of Mr. Anderson with some kids. Those look like middle school kids. Yeah, there's Jennifer Diaz, who's the school counselor at Lanier Middle School. Absolutely. Youth Council. That's right, absolutely. All right, next slide. And then Mr. Rosel with some of the students as well. And thank you for everybody that participated in that from City Council. Mr. Hicks mentioned BMM, Enrichment Academy. Here's those young men from last Saturday, exceptional young men. Next slide, please. And here's us. We played a little bit of basketball too on that Saturday, and I think we had a great time. Next slide, Ms. Weatherly. We've also been making the rounds at our assisted living facilities. On Wednesday, participating with about 30 volunteers from our community at Holbrook Assisted Living. We're doing game night with the residents. Councilmember Hicks and I, we had the opportunity to go to Benton House, I want to say 2 or 3 weeks ago, in celebration of their cruise week, and that has been a tradition of the city for a long time, and of course we had a great time. Thank you, Ms. Weatherly. Here, just wanted to give a shout out to the Broad Street Band Concert, who does so much for our community. They've been our partner for Memorial Day and Veterans Day, but in the last couple of years, they've started doing free concerts at the Eagle Theater. And then Mr. Cohen had the opportunity to recognize Richard McClagan, who's been the band director for 10 years and is responsible for pulling together the music and also leading the band at all of our events that they participate in. And that was a great and well-attended night. Thank you. Next, just wanted to give a shout out to the Historic Preservation Society. We have one of the members here tonight, Stephanie Isaacs. Had the opportunity to host Wayne Hill for about an hour and 15 minutes. He talked about growing up, being born in Sugar Hill, growing up here. And it was just a great evening. It was well attended, and it was a good opportunity to honor him and what he's done for Sugar Hill and for Gwinnett County. Thank you, Ms. Weatherly. And then next, I wanted to just thank Faith Sisson with the Sugar Hill Area Women's Club. They did host the State of the City address this year, our first one. We incorporated it into Sweet City Night, which is a tradition of theirs that honors all of our community groups here. And Ms. Sisson, she did a great job leading off the night. Next slide. And then here's just a picture of me. It was well attended. I want to thank all the council members for being there and for the residents that attended. Next slide. We honored some people that night in addition to just talking about the past year, the successes of the past year. We honored Pastor Mao and Laura Meneses, who run Sugar Hill Espanol, which is under the umbrella of Sugar Hill Church. In 1 year, they have grown their membership from 80 to over 500 members, and that's just unbelievable. I talk about this a lot. The the Latino community is a growing part of our community, and they have really engaged and brought them into the community in the last year. And they're two wonderful people that we were thankful to be able to recognize along with some other people that night. Next slide, please. This was just Friday. Again, this was something that Sugar Hill Espanol organized. This is their second year doing it. It's called One Sweet Day, and it's a Hispanic heritage festival. Lots of different food opportunities to taste, amazing food to taste. I think there were 9 or 10 different countries represented, and they're all members of Sugar Hill Espanol. And of course, you have some of the students here from Lanier High School. And then Pastor Chuck, of course. And I think we're getting close to the end. There's just us eating food. We did a lot of that. Asked Daryl Pruitt with the Historic Preservation Society. And lastly, I think a couple council members have talked about this. We are in a food fight for the new North Gwinnett Co-op. It's a friendly fight with Sewanee. I think we're currently like around 1,400 pounds of donations to Sewanee has just slightly over 1,000. So unfortunately, they've gained on us just a little bit since round 1. Round 2 is hygiene products and personal care items. And so it's
Till the 22nd.
till the 22nd, which is Sugar Rush. And we have several drop-off locations, the E-Center, Sugar Hill City Hall, the Eagle Theater, and then Lanier High School as well. And I think that's it for me, and I thank y'all for indulging me. And again, just want to say thank you to all of you. There's lots of other things that I could have talked about. It's been a busy month, so. All right, thank you, Ms. Weatherly. Next, we're going to move on to the city clerk, Ms. Whittington.
Thank you, Mayor. The Customer Service Department issued 162 passports in the month of September and 7 new business licenses. There were several commercial locations that came on board during the month, and a new ownership for Cantina Loco is now Our Real Tacos at 5010 West Broad Street. And visit our website to make an appointment for your passport or for our employment opportunities. There are several positions still listed there along with the application. And I want to talk a little about the election coming up. Early voting will begin October 16th and run through November 3rd, 9 to 5, Monday through Saturday, excluding Sundays. We will not be open on Sundays. It is in the community room downstairs as you come in the door. And for Election Day, it's here in the council chambers on November 7th from 7 a.m. till 7 p.m. And the work session on 11/6, on Monday, will be moved to the community room downstairs. This room will be set up for the elections. So that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Ms. Whittington. I'm going to change the order up, if you don't mind, Mr. Redford, and yet let our youth council member do his presentation, because it's his first time, and there's nothing worse than having to wait. And so
He's going to do great.
he is going to do great. Please join us and welcome.
Thank you very much, Mayor. So I'm here, Leron, with the Youth Council. And our last meeting, actually, we just implemented our committees. So I'm part of the Volunteer and Service Committee. We have the Community Outreach Committee, and then the Events and Planning. So our advisors, Mr. Hicks, Chase, and Victoria will be in charge of overseeing those committees. Sugar Hill Youth Council, now we started solidifying our plan for Sugar Rush. Sugar Rush, everybody's talking about Sugar Rush. So that involves advertising through our social media, keeping up with the latest trends, looking for more volunteers, adults, youth, everyone, and then, of course, just finishing some more logistics. So our new program that we just started this year is Youth Ambassadors. is a group of volunteers, just especially the youth. We're here to mobilize a team of youth that just help our community. So right now we're looking for volunteers for Sugar Rush. And our information session will be next Wednesday, October 18th, at 6:30 in the Waterfall Room, if I'm not mistaken. So next Wednesday, all high schoolers, middle schoolers are welcome. So feel free to join. We'll have our application process, but we're inviting everyone. If you just like to help your community or just get some community service hours, that'd be a great idea. And thank you guys for listening to me for my first time. So thank you.
Yes, sir, you did well. Thank you. We won't pepper you with questions. All right, Mr. Radford, you're up.
Thank you, Mayor, and job well done. It's not easy to get up there and do that. I just want to echo all the interest and all the activity that's going on with the food drive. It's, friendly competition is always very great. Swanee has done a fabulous job over the years, and I'm really pleased with all the numbers we have. But guess what? We have the last big outing in Gwinnett County before the winter sets in, and that's Sugar Rush. And so use all your social media outlets to ask folks to bring those things there. I know the Youth Council is shouting it out loud over at Lanier High School, and we appreciate that. But it's going to be, we all keep sight on what the goal is and what the purpose is, and that is to help the community that needs a helping hand. So it was nice to see Nick Messino here tonight and get the honor of our proclamation, but the honor of being designated as the best chamber in the country by the International Chamber Execs Association. I had the opportunity a couple of weeks ago to speak to the Economic Development Summit of the Electric Cities of Georgia and the Gas Authority. They had some 300 members, 300 folks there representing cities across the state. And I got to speak on our 10-year development here, and I was really pleased to be able to address the crowd and just show how it's transpired over the last 10 years, and the communities around the state obviously think highly of Sugar Hill, given the recent designation as the Main Street of the Month. But those are just buildings. It's the people that are housed in those buildings and the people that get connected through these buildings that really is what the award's all about. So with that, I would like to call on Troy to give us a construction and operations update, and then I'm going to reach out to others that are here tonight to give updates, so be prepared. Cam, that means you. Get prepared.
Thank you, Mr. Radford. I want to call your attention to the last couple of pages of the management report, and I'll highlight a few of the projects that we have been working towards wrapping up in the latter half of 2023. We have completed the majority of construction on the Bowl Pond Improvements Project, which is what we are designating as the landing currently. And that one is a gathering space. It finishes out the eastern end of the amenity pond and the eastern end of our downtown campus. It's a fantastic facility. We're still buying out some furniture, fixtures, and equipment. So we'll be finishing that up this fall, and we'll be ready for a fantastic spring in 2024 to celebrate the opening of that facility. We also are coming to a conclusion on the Ridge Lake Park project, which is a 22-acre park on Highway 20. That one is between Sugar Ridge Drive and the Arbor Close neighborhood, and is set to be programmed with passive recreation events and activities. It includes a restroom building, a picnic pavilion, parking, and a dog park. We are working on the finishing portion of the landscape plan, and that one is unfortunately slow in getting some of the grass growing, but we are working towards that. We also have some site lighting we're adding, and then we'll be ready to open that up later this month. In addition to that, one of the bigger parts of our capital improvement program for 2023 was our roadway repaving and repair program. We wrapped that up with the resurfacing of West Broad Street and Church Street recently. We have added the striping, and we've got a few more little items to close that project out, adjusting manholes, valves, and finishing up a few striping items that are not finished yet. One of the bigger road projects that will extend into 2024 is the Alton Tucker Boulevard Extension Project. It realigns Alton Tucker with Highway 20 across from Stanley and includes the reconstruction of several intersections along there, the signalization of the intersection of Stanley and Highway 20. And so we'll be announcing some additional road and lane closures and detours over the next couple of months, one of which will be to take the portion of the driveway that it comes down into the E-Center and making some grade adjustments to that. So I appreciate our communications team helping me communicate that message. I will go ahead and just say there are a number of projects that we're working on the design phase, and just call your attention to that. There are some projects coming up in 2024 that will get under construction that you can read about in the report.
Thank you, Troy. If Diane, Chief Marshal, would come up and give us a public safety report. And once again, welcome to the two new marshals that were sworn in tonight as we continue to provide, I think, top-notch service to our community. So thank you, Diane.
Thank you. Mayor, City Council, good evening. Yes, we are super excited to welcome Christian Matos and Kevin Snyder to the Marshals Department. They both bring just a lot of experience. Christian Matos was with Gwinnett County Police for 9 years, most recently in the Community Affairs section. So he and Parker, as I like to say, are going to be my dream team for our Community Affairs unit for the Marshals. They have a lot of connections, so you're going to see them out and about a lot within the schools and the community and organizing a lot more events for the Marshals Department. Kevin came to us, he was with Hall County Sheriff's Office for several years and most recently was policing in Alaska. And he joined us as a reserve because he wanted to stay in law enforcement, and we let him know about an opportunity for a full-time position, and he was thrilled to be able to get accepted to this position. So we're happy to have them. This past month, my marshals did over 700 patrols. 187 of those were residential checks. So they are very proactive and going in and out of all the subdivisions within Sugar Hill. In fact, we attended 2 HOA meetings, and we have more scheduled for next month. So that's going to be a regular thing, and we're going to make sure we stay proactive with the HOAs within the community. They did issue 27 warnings for traffic violations, mostly stop sign violations where we're requested to be out in certain subdivisions. People call us and say their neighbors are running stop signs or it's happening in downtown. So we're just issuing warnings. They did conduct 14 outreach and community policing activities this month, one of which was, well, actually it was several. We did the hard lockdown drills with all of the Lanier Cluster schools. Not only do we have a great relationship with Gwinnett County PD, we have a great working relationship with the Gwinnett School Police. And they rely on us heavily to help them with these lockdown drills because it takes a lot of manpower to go through every single class of every single floor with an administrator. So we helped out with all of the elementary, middle, and high school. We also did participate in the Lanier Homecoming Parade. That was pretty awesome. I have to admit, I did see the first one that it was years ago, pre-COVID, they had a parade, and this one was much bigger and very well attended. And on October 4th, one of our reserve marshals, Alan Fleming, passed away. He suffered a couple of strokes on his way home one evening. So if you all could just keep his family in the prayers, he'll be laid to rest this weekend. And one other thing, October 14th is Hometown Heroes and Hot Rods. It's a car show at Sugar Hill Church right across the street from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. We're actually participating in the car show part as well. But it benefits the First Responders Family Foundation. An officer with Gwinnett County PD started this nonprofit organization to help families of fallen officers. So he is doing a raffle, and all the proceeds will help that organization. There is going to be music, food vendors, and kid-friendly activities if anyone is able to make it. Thanks.
Mr. Radford, if I may, I forgot to mention one event, and I wanted to thank the marshals for it. So Lanier High School last week hosted the Gwinnett County Public School System band exhibition. We had 11 high school bands that came and played on the field at Lanier High School. And long night, I think we started like at 5 and ended at around 10:30 or so. But the marshals did traffic duty that night, and I wanted to thank them for doing that. We had so many compliments from the parents of all the bands, so appreciate it.
And as Cam works his way up here, Cam works in our events department. Cam is one of these quiet young men who works hard behind the scenes, doesn't always get the recognition that he's due. If Nick Messina were still here, he and his staff would tell you that Cam was instrumental in making all the events the Nomad Chamber had to do go off seamlessly here, because they've told me that. And so if I haven't told you that, thank you. But Cam's here to give us maybe an inside look at Sugar Rush. And one of the things that before he starts, several years ago, we had 40 vendors, is that correct? Last year, we had 60. This year, by last count, we have 86. And so that is a testament to Cam's leadership, the community's interest in the event, and those who want to have an art vendor here that's saying this is a place to go. And if you've been down here on Saturday or Sunday, for those you know, it is rich with community and it is rich with excitement. And I appreciate Cam's leadership on that. Cam?
Thank you, Mr. Radford. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'll be honest, you guys did a pretty good job highlighting my report for me already, but me and Avery worked hard on this little speech I have here, so just bear with me if I echo some of the things you have already said. Do need to bend down to read, though. In September, we had our final Sugar Hill Live on Stage in the Bowl with the KT Tunstall performance, and then the series also followed into the Eagle Theater with our current Bailey Ray concert. This was in conjunction with a special reception for the Black Artist Showcase in the museum and gallery across the street. We also hosted some community events in the Eagle Theater. The Players Guild finished a run of Steel Magnolias. The Broad Street Concert Band held their free Let's Dance concert. The Sugar Hills Historic Preservation Society had Wayne Hill as part of their speaker series. On the Stage Children's Theater performed Finding Nemo, and the Sugar Hill Area Women's Club hosted their Sweet City Night, which featured the State of the City address from Mayor Hembry. Outside, we continued with Thirsty Thursday. Music at Sugar Hill, Yoga in the Bowl, and the Lanier Cluster held both their homecoming parade and story walk in our downtown. Last week was our final Thirsty Thursday, and on Saturday, Jeff Allen was in the Eagle Theater and performed his Are We There Yet tour. On October 13th and 15th, or through October 13th through 15th, On the Stage Children's Theater will perform Into the Woods. Then the next weekend, or the weekend of the 20th through 21st and 22nd, is Sugar Rush Arts Festival, which will kick off with Mixtape and the absolutely fabulous Neon Queens free concert on that night of the 20th. Doors open at 6. And the festival will go from 10 to 6 on the Saturday and 12 to 5 p.m. on the Sunday. On October 27th, we will have our trick or treat on West Broad Street, which will be headed up by Chase Rehack. And on October 28th, we will have a showing of Rocky Horror Picture Show in the Eagle Theater in collaboration with the Players Guild at Sugar Hill. To speak more about Sugar Rush, the two-day festival will include a color run this Saturday morning. It's a 5K color run hosted by our usual group, 5-Star NTP. It will have an ice cream eating competition on the Saturday as well, starting at 2 p.m. So I encourage you to sign up. We'll feature artists and business vendors lining up and down West Broad Street. To kind of correct what Paul said, we're actually at 100 vendors now. Yeah, we hit that number a little last week. We'll feature live demonstrations of glass blowing, log hewing, and blacksmithing up in our upper decks of City Hall, the upper parking deck of City Hall. We'll have performances, Silks and Aerials also on the upper deck, local bands at the Sweet Spot and the Plaza stage. We'll have All Stars Dance Academy performing pop-up shows. The Broad Street Concert Band will be on Saturday, kicking off the festival. And then the Broad Street Jazz Band will be on Sunday in the Plaza stage. The Linear High School Marching Band will kick off our Sunday, and the Linear Middle School Marching Band will also perform on the Plaza stage on Sunday. On the stage, Children's Theater will be there on Sunday, and we'll have acrobatic performances in the Bowl on Saturday. Live artists will be painting throughout the festival. We'll have free inflatables for the kids to play on. We'll have an animal show in the Bowl on Sunday. The Sugar Hill Arts Commission Juried Art Show will be on the Saturday. And then we have the Nightmare on Broad Street in the theater on Sunday. We'll be showing movies in the theater on Saturday, and this will be from Scooby-Doo to Nightmare Before Christmas and The Addams Family. And there will also be a car show hosted by the American Cancer Society in our lower City Hall parking deck on Saturday. And then on Sunday, they'll do a Bark for Life, where we encourage people to bring their animals downtown. There'll be a animal costume contest that you can sign up for and win prizes. And that kind of concludes it for Sugar Rush. We'll be doing early voting in City Hall on Saturday for the election, as well as featuring the reflections contest from the school both days in City Hall, Saturday and Sunday. That will be from Lanier Middle School, and I think White Oak will be participating as well. And then, yeah, like I said, that concludes Sugar Rush. And then looking ahead to November, the Players Guild at Sugar Hill will open with It's a Wonderful Life on November 2nd. November 11th, we'll have our annual Veterans Day ceremony. We'll have a rental in the theater space the week prior to Thanksgiving, and then John Berry will open his 27th annual Christmas tour in the Eagle on November 24th. And that's all I got.
Thank you, Cam. Really appreciate that. And Sugar Rush, I don't know how you coordinate it all together, but there is something for everybody. And once again, appreciate you and the whole event, all of our staff that work hard on that, and all the volunteers. So thank you.
Cool.
And Andy, appreciate your patience, but it's good to get a recreation and parks update as well.
I have to follow that one, so that's going to be tough. Thanks for having me tonight. Hope everybody's had a great weekend and a good Monday to start. Recreation is basically going strong. Parks are strong every day with soccer and football. Basketball is going strong in the East Center right now. Kids have been around a lot the last couple of days because of fall break in Gwinnett County. Had a nice little crowd in there this morning as well for the last day. As you see, we're going from summer to winter, so the tent was raised this weekend in effort first to help out with Sugar Rush, and then the ice rink will begin installation the day after Sugar Rush ends. The golf course had another great month of September, actually a better month than any September we've had. The Bar and Grill did a fabulous job in the month of September, which helped our revenue numbers as well. And we look forward to having another one this past weekend. We hosted the Legion Golf Tournament. I heard it was very well attended and everything went well. It's great to be partners with them since they're our next door neighbors. That is the report for tonight, unless there are any questions. Thank you.
Hey, Andy. Just real quick, I was actually downtown Atlanta for a conference about a week or 2 weeks ago, and I was using my little Sugar Hill book here. and somebody was like, Sugar Hill, what do you know about Sugar Hill? And I was like, I live there. And it was like, man, I travel from, they're over in Forsyth County, and they come over here and said, this is actually the best golf course that I have ever played on for the cost of money and all of that. So I just wanted to give you a testament of this guy was way in Atlanta, down in Lenox, and seen this book and associated it to the Sugar Hill, and say him and his buddies all come and play that course. I just wanted to just give you that that attaboy and just say a job well done.
Great, thank you very much. I'll pass it along to all the staff out there. Thank you.
And lastly, Chase, and that will conclude, when Chase is finished, that will conclude the management report. She hasn't been doing much lately.
Good evening. I think you all kind of touched on my report as well, but I do want to just say that we were recognized by the Georgia Main Street Association as Main Street of the Month for October. This is really big, especially since we're just an affiliate community. We're a new downtown, so it's kind of just a real testament to what we're doing, that we're being recognized so early on compared to other Main Street communities that have been around for decades. Trick or Treat is on October 27th. It's a Friday. It'll start at 5:30. It'll be businesses and community groups coming together to pass out candy, and then we will have free movies in the bowl starting at 7:30. And then, like everybody else said, the food fight, we only have 2 weeks left, so donate as much as you can. We're trying to push everybody that's coming to the mixtape concert, since it's free, you don't have to bring a ticket, bring a hygiene item that you could donate instead. That's it.
So our social media push should be bring your own share and bring your own bag of
Yes.
personal hygiene items.
Your own tie,
Yes.
yeah.
Or really, really heavy boxes of
Yes.
of washing detergent.
If we can do laundry detergent, that is best.
Yes. Yeah.
Or 3-in-1 shampoo.
I understand it's almost like, a salad line, get the.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Radford. We'll now move on to citizens and guest comments. Each citizen or guest has up to 3 minutes. Anybody like to come up? All right, we're going to close out and move on. We have no consent agenda, no old business. Under new business, item number 1 was tabled, so we will move on to item number 2, and we have Ms. Weatherly here tonight. We're excited to have you here tonight.
Good evening. We received an application for design review from Kittle Homes. This is a project located in the Central Business District. It is a 7,300 square foot restaurant and pub. It is located at the corner of Hillcrest and Nelson Brogdon, and it includes space for dining and entertaining, as well as family-friendly outdoor gathering areas. It also includes an outdoor display, which shall be angled away from Highway 20 or otherwise obscured to prevent glare or distraction for passing motorists, and that is pending approval by the city manager. Additionally, there will be a stone wall to completely surround outdoor games areas, subject to city manager approval and GDOT approval. Staff recommends approval of this request with these 4 conditions.
Sorry. Thank you, Ms. Weatherly. Do the recommended conditions, do they include the two additional items that we just saw on the?
Those are included in the application.
Okay, you got it. All right, any questions of Ms. Weatherly before I open up the public hearing? Mr. Rosal. You looked like you were heading for the button
I
there.
think during the work session, I brought up the point of the wall continuing. I think it's now extended here, and you can see it in the rendering, so.
That's right, and I think Mr. Cohen brought up
And the same with the sighting of
adjusting the.
big screen. So thank you to Planning and Zoning, and thank you, Mr. Kittle.
All right.
And Mayor, in fact, that the condition number 1 points to the exhibits, and so those exhibits are what we showed you tonight, so they'll be subject to those conditions, subject to my DOT and my final approval. But we know the intent.
Thank you. That helps me. That was the intent of my question. Thank you. All right. If there's no questions, we will now move on to the public hearing. And I'll start with the first 10 minutes for those in support of the project, and that can include the applicant. If they want to come up, don't have to, but you're welcome to. And if you could just provide your name and address for the record.
Yes, thank you guys. Thank you, Mayor, council members. My name is Zachary Kittle, and usually I'm up here talking about building houses or rezoning land, so this is a very unique situation for us, and we're actually very excited about it. And I don't know if you can, you don't have the photos up or anything like that, but the plan here is for the 7,500 square feet. The bottom will be basically a family area. We're going to have a nice little beer wall, of course, for everything. There's going to be a place to pick up food, order food, of course. The middle level is going to be more like a private party area where you could do like a wedding reception or just host like a Christmas party. And of course, your top floor is going to be 21 and up, the more rowdy area of there. We plan on having the TV outside going constantly for, events at night or even during the day. We find it like a family-friendly event area where you have games outside, which would be very fun for the kids. Me and my wife talked about doing like a kids movie night on Thursday or something like that for like Lion King or, Hercules was my favorite movie. But something like that would be very fun to do. And of course, like Saturday, just imagine Saturday college football, all day going. It's probably going to be pretty packed out. And for a Georgia game, it might get a little rowdy, but it'll be good. So we're very excited about it. I'm here to take any questions you guys have or any questions that the community has. And we feel very confident with our design. We've hired out consultants to help us on this. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of Bar Rescue, but his consultants, John Taffer's consultants, are actually working with us on this. So we're going to try and get this right and not end up on Bar Rescue ourselves. So that's the whole purpose of it. But if you guys have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll sit back down.
Thank you, Mr. Kittle. Are there any questions of Mr. Kittle from City Council? All right, no questions? All right, there's about 8 minutes left on the support side. Is there anybody else that would like to speak in support?
I'll say one more last thing. The wall that we added on there, we're going to make it 48 inches is what I've talked about doing. But also in turn, I know it says DOT approval on there, and remember we talked about it, but there's a DOT right-of-way right there. And so that's why we originally put the bushes there, was because of the DOT right-of-way. So we will put the wall as close as we can to that DOT right-of-way without encroaching it. We're more than happy to do that. I think that's actually better. And also, in turn, those bushes and trees are going to grow up some, so you will not be able to see that TV like you think sitting at the red light because it'll block it out more. And we did angle it, but we want to angle it where it can see the patrons and everything from the tiered system of the building. So that way everybody can even be at the very top and be watching a football game down below or more sporting, whatever. All right? Thank you, guys.
Thank you again, Mr. Kittle. All right. Anybody else wishing to speak in support? All right, Mr. Kittle, you have some time left for rebuttal on the back end if you need it. All right, we will go to the 10 minutes for those that might wish to speak in opposition to us having a new restaurant in our downtown.
Hey, Gary Perkle, 5440. I'm not particularly opposed to the project. I do have some questions. I just thought I'd take the opposite time and his time for himself if he wanted to address it there. From the renderings there, I can't get a very good feel for the particular layout of the restaurant and grounds. I did ask the city planning director at the last meeting. I see no parking at all on there, and he said there was some parking. Do you know where the parking is relative to what we see there?
As you know, we don't answer questions during public hearing, but we'll let Mr. And that's actually a rule that you signed, by the way, a number of years ago, so we'll let Mr. Kittle come up.
Actually, we did answer, but you can run things the way you choose. The other question I have there is definitely about the location of the screen. I think it's going to be massively distracting on Highway 20. I appreciate that potentially the trees might grow to block it. I have great concern about that unless they're planted at very mature trees at the initial planting. I just think it'll be very distracting there and would likely be better if the back of the screen were toward Highway 20 as opposed to something that you're going to be seeing driving by. Those are the two concerns I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Perkle. Anybody else wishing to speak in opposition? All right, we'll close out the opposing side. Mr. Kittle, would you like to come up and maybe answer some of those questions? And again, you're just answering questions. We're not engaging between the presenter and the audience.
Perfect. Yeah, parking concerns, yes. So we have a little bit of parking on the back, but it's really going to be for employees and drop-offs. Our plan is to use the public parking across the street. I believe we have a brand-new parking deck right there. I think it's $5 million across the street, so I think that'll be suffice. The screen location, distraction, yes, I know the rendering doesn't show it, but we're going to plant more mature trees than the little 2-foot trees that are shown on our rendering here, just to have something a little bit better, but of course it's going to grow up over time, protect that area and not distract as many people as we want. Our goal is safety. I don't want anything to happen to any patron or, who's in this area here, so I'm very happy about the wall. But also, in turn, I don't want to be distracting and cause an accident or anything on our side, too, for sure. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kittle. All right, I believe that ends the public hearing, so we'll close that out. Are there any questions, staff, before I ask for a motion? All right, is there a motion?
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve DRB CBD 23-003 with the 4 conditions stated.
Thank you. Have a motion from Mr. Rosel. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Cohen. Any further discussion before I call the vote? All right, all those in favor, raise your right hand. Next, we'll move on to item number 3, and that is Mr. Besesh.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This item is a request to authorize the mayor to sign and submit the application for the 2024 Georgia DOT LMIG grant application. And this is for a proposed list of streets that I will go over in a moment. This is a project that we package together every other year for economy of scale and have a budget of about $1 million for these types of repairs and resurfacing of city streets. The state currently funds the grant program for the city of Sugar Hill based on the number of miles of streets in the city at any particular year and according to their budget. This year, it's set at $247,359.47, and that would be for the next cycle. We do plan on programming SPLOST proceeds of $167,000 towards this particular year's worth of repair and resurfacing. And then the balance is made up with local funds of about $85,640. This will make up the total annual budget of $500,000, and we package that into a biannual contract for every 2 years. We have recently, in the past 9 years I've been responsible for this program, resurfaced and repaired some 23 miles of streets, and those are across 79 total streets in this in the city of Sugar Hill, out of the approximately 374 that are in the city. And I've listed those in the memo that I provided to City Council for this purpose. And I want to go ahead and mention that the streets we are proposing to resurface or submit for resurfacing are listed in the memo that should be coming up on the screen here in a moment. They are South Roberts, Hidden Circle, Shirley Drive, Wansley Lane, Sherry Lane, Roberts Drive, Hidden Creek Drive, Creek Trace Drive, Forest Creek Court, Creek Bluff Drive, Millwalk Court, and Creek Trace Court. That's 13,470 linear feet, and the repairs associated with each of those will be evaluated prior to letting the contract. And the map of the area is provided on the screen before you, but takes up a good portion of the Frontier Forest neighborhood in the eastern side of Sugar Hill. That is currently where the Gwinnett County Water Resources is replacing some of the older galvanized pipe in that neighborhood with new pipes. So they have had to cut the roads in a number of locations to make those repairs. And then we have been coordinating with them, postponing a number of these street repairs until they were finished. So we will package this together upon your approval in the next iteration of the contract, and we will get this submitted again with your favorable consideration tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Basesh. Any questions or comments from City Council? Yes, Mr. Rosell.
Thank you, Mayor. Troy, just one question. Considering the involvement of the county and us needing to wait until their completion to make sure this is done right, what does the coordination look like as far as things that they tear up versus patch repair when we come in, that sort of thing, just so that part of the community kind of can understand what to anticipate as far as the coming months for 2024?
When they make either longitudinal cuts down the road or across the road, they have to repair it up to the elevation of the cut and the repair. So a lot of times that is benched in and it's concrete up to that surface elevation. Sometimes they put back gravel until they can get asphalt lined up for a binder repair. We will come in with this contract and we will provide a clean new surface at the proper elevation. So I'm not sure exactly how long the contract will last, but we will gear up and get ready for the overlay when time is appropriate.
Okay, and then just kind of the continuation of that question, the coordination will happen to ensure that they are done before we go in and do that, because I know there are a few things more frustrating when thinking that it's done and then they come to mess something up that we're trying to fix.
I will
to
say
last.
that my experience has been on other roads that are not affected by water resources. Sometimes you finish the overlay just in time for something to happen and it gets cut, but nothing we can do about utility repair needs, but it's just got to get done. But we'll wait till the contract is over with Water Resources.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rosell. Any other questions or comments? Mr. Anderson.
Troy, I always have a lot of questions for you when it comes to paving, so I apologize. A couple of these I asked last week, but since we're now in the regular meeting, I wanted to ask them. We do paving every 2 years, and tell me again, why is it that we only do it every 2 years?
My experience has been when we are able to package a contract, we get more interest from the contracting community if we have more roads that need to be repaired and resurfaced. So as the quantities increase, there's more interest from potential and prospective bidders than we would ordinarily get with a smaller contract. So that helps us out, and the more competition there is, the more competitive the pricing becomes.
I appreciate that. And then, of course, the one thing, and this is, we're not awarding the contract, but the one thing I always ask you about is edge milling, because I believe that's critical to paving correctly. And the other thing is, of course, adjusting valves, manhole covers, and that sort of thing. We had a water main break over last week in downtown on West Broad Street between Racetrack and Alton Tucker. And it took a while for us to identify and locate that. What was the cause of that particular issue?
I don't know the reason why it happened, but the valve had been paved over, perhaps with the streetscaping project 10, 12, 15 years ago. But the Water Resources staff could not locate the valve because it had been paved over.
Gotcha. And one thing that I asked you about was the number of miles that we pave in a given year. It looks like it's about 2.5 miles per year that we repave. Is that a fair estimate? Because I think we paved 25,000 linear feet, roughly 27,000 under the previous contract. This one proposes some 13,000 linear feet of street. Is that correct?
That's about right.
About 2.5 miles per year. Do you know, and one of the things that I appreciate the staff does too is how do we go about assessing which roads we repave in the city?
We've done it twice since I've been here. We've provided an objective pavement condition assessment where we contract with Moreland Altabelli at the time in 2016, and then we updated it recently. I don't have the results back yet, but we did contract with that same firm to update this pavement condition assessment, where they used Georgia DOT methods to assess the condition of segments of roadway. And it doesn't always mean that the entire road is in need of repair. Sometimes there are short segments of the road that can be repaired and not necessarily the entire thing. What we try and do is take that information and make a informed and reasonable grouping of streets so that we can provide an entire neighborhood a repaired and completed condition. So for example, Frontier Forest is one of those where we try and do it at or about the same time. So that sets the expectation for the neighborhood. Doesn't always work that way, but sometimes it is a way for us to put it together and provide that. So it's an objective methodology we use to assess the condition of the road.
And did you have a report when you became assistant city manager and this became part of your duties? Did you have a report of our streets in the city as far as the condition? Did you have a condition assessment that you came in, or was that something that you did?
No, I did not have one.
Also, one of the other questions I had for you was if a citizen has a pothole in their street or some other worry about the condition of their street, how can they go about reporting that to you?
They can call City Hall and we can take the information down or transfer them to our Public Works Department. But there is a service request form on the city's website where you can report potholes and other concerns you may have about public works, roadways, or other requests about city services. So that's two easy ways that you can report them.
Great. I appreciate that. And I wanted to make I had asked some other questions of you because I'm kind of a city history nerd when it comes to some of our policy and procedures and how we did things. But I asked you prior to you coming on board and Mr. Radford, how many miles of roads had been paved prior in just the past few years before you came on? And I think you were able to determine it was less than 1 mile was paved in 2012. Is that correct? Is that what your records show?
That's right.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that we're repaving now about 2.5 miles per year as opposed to less than 1. So anyway, thank you, Mr. Basesh. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. I think sometimes we remember the past in ways that didn't really happen, so thank you. Is there anybody else that has a question or comment? All right, is there a motion?
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the request and authorize the mayor to sign and submit the application for the 2024 Georgia Department of Transportation Local Maintenance and Improvement Grant Program for improvements to the proposed list that has been provided in the staff memo.
All right, I have a motion from Mr. Anderson. Is there a second? Second from Ms. Thatcher. Any further discussion before I call the vote? All right, all those in favor, raise your right hand. Very good. All right, I do know that we have a need for executive session. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion that we go to executive session to discuss legal, real estate, and/or personnel matters.
I have a motion from Mr. Roswell. Is there a second? Second. Second from Mr. Hicks. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All right, we'll go into executive session and come out when we're done. All right, we are back from executive session, and we do have one item to take up, and I'm going to recognize Ms. Thatcher for that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I hate it that my peer, Mr. Cohen, is not here for this because, like me, he talks a lot about workforce housing and the council's concerted effort now to focus on building workforce housing, single-family, detached, fee simple, so that folks like our staff, our teachers, our first responders that live within the community, or that don't currently live within the community but want to be able to afford housing here, have that opportunity. So I hate it that Mark's not here to hear this. But in your State of the City address, you mentioned that by the end of the year, we would have about $32 million in cash on hand and about $10 million in unrestricted reserves. So with those two items, I'll move to approve the purchase of approximately 0.89 acres of property known as 4939 Roosevelt Circle in Sugar Hill. Gwinnett County Tax Parcel RZ R7291013 from Thomas C. Morris Jr. as executor of the estate of Ruby V. Morris for the purchase price of $520,000. A further move to amend the fiscal year 23 budget to transfer this amount from our unrestricted reserves to land acquisition.
Thank you, Ms. Thatcher. Well stated. Motion made. Is there a second? Got a second from Mr. Hicks. Any further discussion before I call the vote? All right, all those in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Thank you. That is all the business that we have, and so we will adjourn our October City Council meeting. Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion, sorry. When it gets after 10 o'clock, I start to get a little squirrely. All right, all those in favor of adjourning, raise your right hand. All right, we're good. Adjourned.